Previously on the science fiction rating system.
Well, for birthdays, we're going to be allowed to request a re-ranking, weren't we?
Bonus re-ranking.
Yeah. Basically, that animation's going down.
What, WALL-E?
No.
You guessed mine. So, Chris, birthday boy, happy birthday. What film are you going to choose for a re-ranking?
Ghost in the Shell.
Oh! So it's animation week all over again at the moment. I think the film needs to be looked at, maybe extracted from the source material and someone's prejudices. So I would like to put back in Ender's Game.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I'm not watching that
the
again.
fact that I knew it would make you mad. You've got to.
And now, the conclusion.
Your mother cheated. That's why you look like a plumber. This is the Science Fiction Rating System, the podcast that aims to rank every science fiction film from 1 to infinity, and it aims to rank a couple of those films twice.
Yes.
This is the re-ranking show. I am one of your hosts, Sam Draper, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Chris Redding.
Bonjour.
And Alex Humphrey.
Hey there.
How is everyone this fine Bank Holiday Monday morning?
Lovely.
Yeah, good. Good.
I'm ready to knock this out and get outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy the sun while it lasts.
You say knock this out. This is the longest session we'll probably ever do, but never mind. Right, so yeah, we are doing our last 3-film podcast today, which is our re-ranking.
Oh.
Actually, it's not, because I guess we'll be re-ranking 3 films this time next year, won't we?
Yeah, we could do that as a special. I think that's a fair
It'll probably
thing
be the
to
same
keep,
films.
No, I'm not gonna. No, yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't think. I'm worried about the outcome of this one, so I'm not gonna pick this.
No.
Again.
Right, yeah, so for people who haven't been listening, we across the year, on our birthdays, we each picked a film we thought was in the wrong place in the list. And this week we have rewatched those 3 films to hopefully place them somewhere a bit more appropriate, or somewhere we can at least agree on more. And the first of those 3 films I chose, and that was WALL-E. And if you listened last week, you will have heard that I wasn't really that fussed about where WALL-E is now. It's at number 17. Sounds good. Any advance on that?
No, I'm happy with that. Let's move on.
Sweet.
Really? We're not even going to talk about it? Wow.
Well, are you happy? Are you happy that it's 17? I watched it. I thought it was all right.
I thought it was... It is a good film, and I went into all 3 of these apart from one. I went into 2 of these being like, right, okay, bring it down.
Yeah.
You know, let's be really hypercritical.
Yeah.
And I thought, what I remembered about WALL-E was that the beginning's really good, but then as soon as humans are involved, it's not as good.
Correct.
But I think, but it's not as good as I thought it was. It's actually still quite good when the humans are involved.
It's a high quality film.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of, in my head, I'm like, when he's on his own, it's really clever and it's really innovative and it's a silent movie, it's brilliant. When there's a human, it's boring. But actually, when there's a human, there's still quite a good plot and there's some good heavy messages there.
There's lots of stuff to see going on, because there's lots of droids doing different technical things and interesting things. And
that's what I don't like, though. Those droids, that's what... It just turns into like a shitty Pixar film for me. I don't like that kind of... I mean, it's all right, but like all that nonsense, the cleaning droid and things, and all the little personality
I quite
stuff.
like that.
It's all right. I just much prefer the earlier bit of the film.
Yeah,
I'd like to see the live action version of it.
Wow, but they probably will do that sometime soon. That's the kind of thing they would do. It's saved by the credits as well. Those credits are
Jeff
brilliant.
As the captain.
The credits are good, and yeah, Jeff Garlin would be all right as that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but no. Ultimately, 17 is a fine place.
It's a very
for it.
pretty film in places,
well.
and it's got a nice ecological message.
Yeah,
it definitely looks nice. Yeah,
it's a good message, because the message isn't just like the message is that you have to sort it out. It's not that we can just leave it to robots to sort out. We have to sort it out.
Yeah.
So, and it's not heavy-handed with that. It is just that they went and thought the robots would.
I mean, a perfect film to show a kid. I think it's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they'd get something out of it. Yeah. No, you're right. 17 is fine. We don't really, doesn't need to go up.
Great, we're making time already.
Bloody hell, yes, there we go. What we're at, 4 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have this done in about 15 minutes.
Well, I don't know. The next two, more to say the next two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a poor choice, but I wasn't to know, was I?
When did you pick it? Where was it when you picked
September,
it?
Last September, and I think it was at number 6 or something like that. It was definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the few weeks before that, there'd been a couple of instances of me trying to get lower down, and you two go no. Yeah. So that's why I was like, right, I'm going to shut those bastards. But now it's kind of,
and I think it was trying to elicit a really salutary response from me.
It was
more than anything.
It was.
Right.
It was. But what does it prove? It proves that the list works.
Proves nothing.
So it proves but the fact that that Wally is in the right place proves the list is a good. It's a good. It's a good format.
You're right. It's the first.
It's a good formula.
It is the after a year of doing this, more than a year, it's the first example of the list actually doing something correct, isn't it?
Yeah.
We got one film right at least. Right, well, we won't bother with a break because that wasn't long. So let's go on to our second film, Ender's Game, which Alex chose because he's a weird masochistic man. I've got more to say about this one. But first of all, let's hear from Alex. Do you think this should be higher up the list then, Alex? Is that what the...
Yes, definitely. I think that you are both too harsh on it. It's at 57. It's below Spaceballs for jeffing's sake. It's below Flash Gordon. It's below Star Crash, which was fun, but I think this film is really good. I loved it just as much the second time around. I think it's got some really heavyweight messages. I think it's really well done. I agree that there are some annoying bits. It drags in it kind of sags in the middle. I kind of get that. But I think that you need all that character stuff to... Because what I think so fascinating is this kind of idea of fashioning a child into, well, basically a mass murdering dictator. But I find that fascinating, and I love all the kind of like the kind of the kind of psychology of it, the kind of politics of it, the kind of Harrison Ford and who is it? Who's the woman in it? Viola Davis. All their kind of like manipulations behind the scenes to make him this person that will ultimately, spoilers, destroy an entire race of beings. And I love all that. And I think that my problem, it sags in the middle. Bonzo Madrid is an issue, but it's kind of funny. I found him quite hilarious this time, to be honest. And I was quite happy when he's severely disabled. That's quite... You're kind of like... He gets his revenge. He gets his payback. I think that my problem with it the first time round is the same in that the end feels a bit rushed. I would rather that he just had a breakdown and killed himself at the end. But I think they had to kind of have a kind of happy ending where he goes off to save these beings. And I'd rather have had much more of a even downer ending than
I think they thought they got a franchise in their hands, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because there's about 85 books, aren't there, as well?
Yes.
Lots to draw from.
Yes. Yeah, and it was a huge,
it was in the
huge
Star Wars
flop.
all time as well. Like
Yes.
Yeah. But it was one of like I wrote it down. It's like one of the biggest bombs, biggest flops of all time, kind of thing. Like, yeah, it was a huge, huge flop. But yeah, so anyway, I think it's too low. I think it needs to go out. But I know you both hate it.
I'm just saying it's sat here like underneath like all the like joke films, like Spaceballs,
exactly.
Flash Gordon, Star Crash.
It's not a joke.
Which was much more fun to watch than this.
No joke. Ender's Game is no joke.
Well,
how dare you?
Chris, do you want to go next, or shall I go next? What do you think about it?
You go next.
Shall I go next? Right, okay. So, on second viewing, it's even worse than the first viewing.
Oh, I knew you'd say that.
I think it should go down, actually, because it was more of my time.
It's atrocious.
More of my time was wasted.
I tell you, the main problem with it is that the structure of this film is that it's basically a series of training montages. You get three different, he joins three different bits of the army, does the same stuff, floats around 0G. None of it has any relevance for the final battle where he's just stood behind a computer.
It's his psychology.
But it's boring. It's so boring. And then they get to the final battle, and that's boring because they're just drones being thrown against nothing, and there's no consequence. Everyone's just sat in a nice room.
Oh, no, but there is a consequence because he kills thousands of people.
Yeah, so that's...
People in the battleships are real.
So that's a nice little
all of them.
bit, yes. I get that. Fantastic. But to get to that point, you've got 90 minutes, as I ever say, endless training. Everyone is unlikable. The main kid is like psychotic, boring. His scream's terrible. He's like funny, like weird, like voice breaking scream.
Difficult.
Everyone, yeah, definitely. Everyone he talks to, it's just embarrassing. Every action he has, the way he talks, like the way he's all like when they're going up on the ship and Harrison Ford's like, what does it happen? Someone throws up or something, and he's like, oh, what's up, Bender? And he's like, oh, blah blah, tactics. I'm so great, and everyone's like, oh, look at this gimp. And then Harrison Ford's like, no, this dude's the guy to go after. And I get what they're doing, but like it just doesn't make a likeable film. On top of that, the military is Harrison Ford plus Viola Davis plus nobody else on every ship until the very end, where about 4 people turn up.
That is a bit odd. It is a bit odd that the entire military is 2 people.
Yeah.
Are they on a space station or something?
Well, the only way they seem to show like the scale of it is occasionally it'll just randomly like go boo and zoom out the window to remind you that you're not just on a tiny little soundstage. It's like a play rather than a film.
They keep going on about how expensive the program is, and I wonder if it's like it's so expensive they can only afford to pay 2 people to train all those kids. And that other guy, the DAP, the kind of colonel guy, he's maybe doing it for free. I don't know, but yeah, that is a bit odd. I agree that the military structure, at least because I think it's kind of comparable to Starship Troopers, but not as good.
No way.
Not as good. I said, but Starship Troopers, you can see the military.
Yes, the complex.
Ranking and everything.
It works better. Yeah,
you can't see it in this. Okay.
Also, Salamanders, obviously, Bonzo and the Salamanders, just embarrassing. Like that woman the girl who turns up who's like I guess the love interest, but not really, cannot act. Yeah. She just like stares gormlessly at the camera. Everything around them is terrible. The only good bit is when, he just randomly just brains Bonzo. And actually, I read that apparently in the book he's dead. And like the next book's about him like feeling guilty about him being dead and stuff, which is quite funny. But anyway, so all this is terrible. But then when it really, really, really jumps the shark is when Ender leaves and he goes to like live on a lake by himself, and he's like whittled himself a big stick and he's like going across the water like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's just like he's like this strange little child who's like living some sort of hero's journey he's not earned or deserved, and it's like you're watching small children put on a play.
No,
and it's just embarrassing, start to finish. The only thing I'll say is good, as you say, there's one good bit, and that's when they're like, oh yeah, surprise, you just committed genocide. That's the one good bit. But that is not worth all this nonsense.
I rest my case.
You can't... The characters are impossible to connect with. Yep. The whole premise is weird in the sense that you don't get a sense of any danger or real...
Totally, yeah.
Like, how the resources... that zero-G training thing, it just seems like they've got a lot of resources considering that they're
but also, there's no payoff for that. They do so much of that, and there's absolutely no payoff.
But it's learning how to fight in space.
Yeah, I get that. He used that, didn't he, when he was actually doing his job of commanding?
Well, he was waving his arms around. He has to do that a lot.
Yeah, he really used all that
tactics and stuff.
Yeah, it all paid off when his tactic was basically like get the big gun, aim it at the planet.
When basically it's just playing Command and Conquer.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's just yes. I had a question for you, Chris. Actually, as the resident science expert here, how do you slingshot your forces into an attack position on the blind side of this planet using the gravitational pull from this planet?
It's simple.
This is basic rocket science.
It's basic rocket science.
You could probably do that. Depending on where the planets were.
Yeah. It's just more that she just like blurts that out and it's like, I don't care or want to hear about this.
If you're using all that like slingshot game, it would take months to get things into place, not minutes.
Yeah.
I think Bean should take this. I don't think I'm best to answer this question. Bean knows it more than me.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to win this, am I?
Also, another point to Chris, you were saying about how there's no there's no consequence, whatever. No. Because they keep saying about how this threat's there, isn't it? And obviously the threat they're not attacking, we're going to attack them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really work when you need to have something to propel the story forward a bit, I think. Because there's no
It's propaganda, isn't it? It's a lie. It's like
no, I get
ISIS, isn't it?
I get it, and in a book maybe that works fine, but as a film, it's just boring, isn't it? You need at least some sort of pretend attack or something like that to go on, something to happen.
Well, it needs to get you on the side of thinking that we are the good guys to start off with. Yeah, and it doesn't.
Doesn't at all. No,
it's too vague. I think it needs to set its shop up and then react to that, and it doesn't
Yeah.
do that.
Like maybe show a proper a bit of the
Like
first
it needs
attack.
to show like Earth getting done in or something.
Yeah.
Or
Well, like Starship Troopers destroying Santa Fe. Or
Exactly,
Where
yeah,
is it?
yeah.
Buenos
Where do
Aires.
they destroy Buenos Aires? Yes. Yeah. No. I'll take that on board. It doesn't detract from the film. At least it's a more appropriate bit of
from the
casting
beginning,
for
I was sat there
Harrison
going, "There's
Ford.
something wrong here," because I don't see like we are not. I don't see how the humans have been hit in a way that it's big. I just you
Yeah,
see
everything
like,
seems
you
fine,
see like
doesn't
a
it?
dogfight or it's
Yeah.
just weird.
And like their life on Earth seems okay, doesn't it? They say a little bit about the fact they can't have too many children, but they did anyway, so it didn't matter.
And their resource, I mean, they're living quite a comfortable life. They've got this lovely space
Yeah.
station.
It was 50 years ago, the first fight or something, wasn't it? It was years ago.
Yeah.
So, like, they've built society back up again. All right, yeah, I mean, they could have shown more of what they did, yeah. But then the film would have been longer.
It's kind
So,
of
Yeah,
the
but
same problem that the second Independence Day had. Did you see that? That was terrible.
Yeah, it's true actually. Yeah. Similar sort of thing. I think you could have put more in though, because the thing is, like, you've got probably 3/4 of the film that is that training bit, and if you cut that down, you put more on the start and you put more on the end, you've got more and more well-rounded film. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I've mentioned Ben Kingsley, who is just embarrassing, isn't he? Really?
yeah. But he'll do anything. I think they probably could have...
would
He's
anything,
just a renter actor. I mean,
Oh, totally,
he is
yeah,
terrible in it. And it's kind of a bit racist because he's not a Maori, and I don't know why he has to do that voice. I don't know why they couldn't have cut... There's a lot of good... you could at least got someone from New Zealand, or do you know what I mean? You could have got someone from the right area of the planet. I don't know why it has to be him, and he doesn't look anything like the bloke in the ship in the beginning at all. Like that's like even I know it's 50 years, but yeah, no, he's pretty annoying.
But also, I mean, he doesn't really do anything, does he? Because, like, I know in the
No.
book you don't. You know sorry, is his name Razor Rackham? Mazer Rackham.
Yeah.
You know he's a character. I shouldn't think so. But I mean, I think the Maori guy is in the story all the way through, and you don't know he's the hero of the war, and that's the twist towards the end, which makes more sense than he just turns up and goes, "Yeah, I'm that guy you heard about.
Yeah,
By the way, we're off to war now, but only not. It's simulation." He's got no reason to be there at all.
no, I don't like him. I will, but that's just me not liking Ben Kingsley.
Racist.
Really. Yeah, I'm just a big racist against British people that play
Rada,
Indians.
you're racist against
Yeah, Rada. Yeah, it's true. The only thing he's good in is Iron Man 3, I would say.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hate him in that.
Oh, I loved him. In
I hate that stupid reveal
Only
of
because
like
it was just not what you were expecting.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what. Anyway, I'm not going to win this, am I? I've opened a can of worms.
Well,
that's
I mean, your argument wasn't very
led
convincing, to
to
be
my-
honest.
No, but you just don't like it. No, but I just think it. But in all the things I'm saying I liked about it, you're just saying that you didn't see them.
Well,
so.
no, I see them. Like the stuff about propaganda, I see that's there. It just doesn't work.
But I thought it did work.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's your opinion, man.
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
It's a 2 against 1 scenario
Well,
that I didn't think
I'm not
about.
sure
I
even the
didn't.
actual space combat stuff is that good either.
No, it's boring. It's just like swarmy, and you can't really tell what's going
I
on.
mean, if this whole film is about tactics, right, and military tactics, and there isn't actually enough, it's not clever enough actually what they do with that to show that their tactics are quite basic.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was
Well, they
like
ju-
actually
yeah.
interesting in that sort of angle,
Yeah.
be
Totally.
great.
But again, I
Well, they
suppose
just-
you can't do that in a Hollywood film, so you're left with this Hollywood version of it, which is basically get the big gun out,
Yeah.
hit the
Yeah,
planet with the
It's
big
walk
gun.
around the big gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot this thingies off like bullets, and then blow up the planet.
Yeah. It took a tactical genius to come up with that one.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've already got a planet-destroying gun, you know you've got that. So why isn't your plan initially?
I mean, I've
we need
played
to
a
get
lot
the
of
planet-destroying
Homeworld.
gun there.
I think I'm better than this kid.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, get some complex waypoints going on. Flank them. He wasn't even using 3D space at all, really, was he? He was sort of very on a flat plane. Yeah.
No, he made everything go down. That was his big thing. Make
Oh
it
yeah,
go
of course,
down.
go down. Yeah.
And there's a bit when they shoot up through some ice.
Yeah.
They do that as a tactic.
But you never see. They never. I mean, I know it's obviously on purpose that they don't humanize the aliens. You never see an alien in a ship, do you?
No.
I guess they're doing that on purpose for reasons, I suppose, but it just doesn't work, does it? Because
No, but I like. But you see, this is. I think that's a strength. Where you're seeing that as a weakness, I find the whole kind of like, oh, it's just a game and it's not real, but then it is real. I think that to me worked really well. But
it works
I
well.
can hear
in,
your arguments.
It works well in the Matthew Broderick classic war games.
Ugh, no, it does not. But anyway,
That's next year's
I think
re-rank
that's
anyway.
a better telling of that story than this.
Definitely.
well, it's a bucket load higher than this, isn't it? But
Well, Alex, so before if this was the Alex rating system, where would you put Ender's Game on that list?
I'm not. I would just say it should be around 40 under Phantom Menace. 40. What's that? 44.
Yeah. No.
So like, I wasn't asked. I'm not asking for a huge uplift.
No.
It's not like I think it's the best film ever. I just think that everyone
I'd accept
was
it
overly
going
harsh.
like above these few, these couple of joke films above it.
I think it should be at 72.
Oh
Because,
no! Come on.
Like Prometheus, not a good
It's
film,
not.
but it's got like a nice soundtrack, hasn't it? Oh, that's another thing. The soundtrack of this film is basically just a
technically
drone, isn't it?
The story's garbage, but everything else is pretty good.
Yeah.
Don't make it go down.
I mean, it's better than Armageddon, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh no! Don't make it go down. Damn you, rating system! You don't work. You don't work.
I mean, I don't know. It's tough. I think Stargate was a better
rather
film as well.
It's better than Doomsday Book. That was a mess.
Yeah, but an interesting mess. There's some
I'd put
interesting
it
ideas.
above. I'd put it above Flash Gordon and Spaceballs personally, but no more.
You would. So 55.
Yeah. Oh, just an up, but that's better than it going down. God, I don't want it to go down any further.
I don't
Do you
know.
really want it to go down that far?
No, I quite enjoyed Flash Gordon, and Spaceballs wasn't very good, but it's not Ender's Game,
Better
is
than
it?
Spaceballs. It's better than Spaceballs.
I really don't think it is. I honestly don't think it is at all. This is like Michael Bay levels of bad for me.
No.
It was terrible. But I mean, I guess if you're both saying if you're saying 55, and what do you say, Alex? You said 44.
Yeah.
Absurd. Well, how about 50? How about 56? So above
Or
Spaceballs,
it just
but below
stays
Flash
exactly where
Gordon.
it is.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Well, I don't want it to go down. That's all I want is it not
Okay.
to go down.
Will you
So
take?
if it has to stay where it is, that's fine.
Will you
but
take
I don't want it-
one nudge up
I'll take one nudge up.
above
thank you.
Spaceballs?
I feel like you're doing me a huge favour here. I am, yeah.
So far
I'm-
in this grand
I'm
re-ranking,
Bonzo Madrid.
we've got one film's not moved and one film's moved one space.
Yeah, I picked the wrong film though. I forgot how much you hated it.
It was
You both
truly, truly
really
dreadful.
hated it. I guess I'm lucky it's even where it is, to be honest.
Yeah, if it's up to me to say, it would be 70s. So,
Oh,
I'm going easy on you there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'd put
It was my
like
birthday.
More than 100. I know we're not even that far on the list, but I'd make sure it was down there,
Oh.
like 105 or something.
Well, then, so why have we moved up one then? If both the same should go down.
No, I don't want to be nasty. It's good.
Okay.
No, thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Civilized science fiction rating system.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
let's have a look.
dramatic.
It was, that was, it was a bit much.
just walked into that.
And I've got more notes, but I'll stop at that. Also, one more thing I'll say though. Did you know that like Bean is like there's a whole series of books about Bean?
Oh, God,
He like rewrote
really?
all the things from Bean's perspective.
That's a bit.
Which
I
seems
I
weird.
can't see the point of that, but
I mean, there's like I looked into it. I think there's 18 Ender's Game books.
I mean,
Really?
And
there's a
at
lot
least
of effort there in,
yeah.
Yeah. At least 3 of those
Course.
books are the same events of this film again from different perspectives. 3 of them are that film.
kind of like the Star Wars films.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway.
yeah. I mean, I guess it went horribly wrong because they did probably buying this. They thought, yeah, that's it. We've got like we can make these films till the money runs out, and it ran out very quickly. Biggest box office bomb of 2013.
Yeah.
Wow.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let's have a little quick break, and then we'll have our third and final rewatch film. And we're back with our third and final film, chosen by Chris. It is Mamoru Oshii's classic, genre-defining, game-changing film, Ghost in the Shell, which sits at number 5 in the list. Chris, you rewatched it,
Yeah.
and what's your thoughts on it now?
Still struggling.
Right.
Struggling.
What's your problem with it?
My main problem is I get the same level of enjoyment out of it as watching an old episode of Captain Planet or something. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
literally,
Bloody hell.
that is the level
Wow.
of what I'm getting out of it. Do you know what I mean? Or like
Oh,
Thomas
dear.
the Tank Engine.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
I bet you were the first person on record of comparing Ghost in the Shell to Captain Planet. We should have that as a quote on the website.
oh my God! Wow.
Anyway,
Okay.
Well, actually, yeah, there's good. The themes are more complicated and interesting, and you could go into that. But what I'm saying is the visual stimulus is not enough for me.
Right.
And
Okay.
you could say it's because it's been animated. You could say that's the reason, and I'd probably agree with you. I know you really like this because you understand more about the background culture, and you know more about where this came from and its backstory and Christ knows what else. And I don't have all that, so I was just watching this completely fresh. I don't know whether it's because I've also seen I saw the live action one around the same sort of time, and actually it covers the story stays pretty much the same, doesn't it? Pretty much.
Right.
They don't add or take away. They haven't removed or added much in the live action, and obviously there's just so much. It's so much more visually stimulating, the live action one, and actually there's things that there was something which I thought the live action did slightly better, actually, which I might have to come back to me. I've just seen whether I wrote it down. But it's the... Yeah, it's just not enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm watching a
Is it-
cartoon.
Is it? Yeah. Is this ultimately, if you distill it down, is it because it's a cartoon?
Yeah, I'm
is that
bored.
your problem?
Yeah.
It's just because I think that seems to be, and I know we had the big.
And I'm not saying
versus
like there
this
are some the
argument,
way things
but-
are framed and its composition of shot is still quite good and like iconic for a animated film in a lot of ways. And the actual animation is, I can see why people really love it, but you
Just
know,
not your thing.
it's a difference between there being 10 colours on a shot and 250,000 colours and shades and way things are lit, and that's the difference.
Is it this style of animation, or is like any animation?
I'm trying
do you
to
feel
think
that
if
way?
there is anything old school. No, I think it is any sort of anime. I can't go long form with it.
Yeah.
Like that's why I hate that Scanner Darkly one as well.
Well, that's not even animation, is it? That's just a cheap Photoshop filter, isn't it? Applied to a film.
Yeah.
But
Fair
I can
enough.
understand like the skills involved are incredible to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you that I think the animation, definitely the style of it is like anime, especially that style of it is built on economy and the fact of like skipping frames and making things simple because they churned a lot of it out. So it is in some ways it is a simple style, but like to me I think that's what appeals to me about it. I like the look of it in that sense of because I think they're forced to do more with the camera, the way they direct it and the way they frame shots and stuff like that because they've not got the whiz bang of like Disney animators like churning out hundreds of cells of animation, thousands even. I think they're forced to do more with like the shots at the end of the tank and of the building, all the shots in loads. It just looks so. Like I remember a lot of the shots from it. And a lot of animated films I don't remember how things are composed in a way.
In some way, is also how you have to write dialogue for that as well, because it's kind of like a comic book style of writing dialogue where
Totally,
there's a lot of it's more wordy than you would do in live action.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Which is difficult. I can't quite get on board with that either. Like,
Yeah, and you're watching it through translation as well.
and I'm watching it through translation,
yeah, which is another thing.
and there's probably stuff in the writing which we're losing completely. Like,
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, as proven by I think there's 3 different translations at least out on subtitles and DVDs, and they're all radically different. So
yeah. I think last time I watched the dubbed version as well.
Yeah.
Just because I got like halfway through and it was just quite hard going, so I kind of flipped it to dub. But again, it's very wordy. It's very, they just how it's written is repetitive and is kind of. But that's not even the filmmaker. That's someone that came along after. So
Yeah. I mean, the problem with the dub is often they can't fit enough English words into the space of the Japanese words, can they? So they speak in that unnatural sort of sped up.
yeah.
But
It's interesting to see. What I will give this, like, there's basic production design in this. How they designed like the like that tank at the end, and which they actually didn't really change in the live action because there were such good designs. So that's kind of a pro.
Yeah.
But I just think just base stimulus is for what a movie experience should be, a cinematic experience. This doesn't quite reach it for me.
Okay, fair enough. Alex, how has your opinion changed, if at all, since the last?
Well, no, I still again, like I said, I went into this and Wally being like, right, they're too high. Let's sort this out. And I will say Ghost in the Shell is too high, but I do think it's too high. But watching it again, I still think it's an amazing film. I think it's an amazing achievement that it's an hour and a half. And I mean, what was good for me this time was that I could, because I knew the plot, I didn't really need to pay as much attention to all the kind of like the ins and outs of who he is and what's going on and all that. I just sat back in it, and I think the action in it is just, there's some brilliant action sequences. I do get on with that way of, cartoons. I'm fine with it, and I think the action's amazing. In fact, just like not bothering trying to work out what was going on, I actually enjoyed certain bits of it a lot more. Like, I mean, I thought the bit with where the guy with no augmentations, what's his name, Togasu or whatever, him.
Yes.
When he works out how that the bodies of those people was like really augmented, because he just watches the lift thing backwards and forwards. That bit, that bit when he's in his car.
Yeah.
That I think is a really brilliant scene. It's very small, but it's also like a brilliant kind of homage to Blade Runner, because it really reminded me of the kind of zooming in the picture in Blade Runner when he's looking, that whole iconic scene.
Yeah.
It kind of really reminded me of that, and I think it's kind of the kind of the best thing about it, but you could say it's a disadvantage. It feels almost like you've started watching a series about in the middle. Yeah. And you haven't seen loads of the early episodes. So they just throw you in. They're like, all right, here's the characters, here's the setup, here's the department, there's these other departments. And you kind of have to kind of hit the ground running, which is really good.
Yeah.
But because of the way it ends, you feel a bit sad, because to me, I wanted to see more of them as that unit. Yeah, I want almost a prequel to like them doing other missions or who she is. Yeah, I don't want... I mean, I think that the live action... I just didn't like all the backstory about.
I think this
Major.
would have been better as a serialised thing.
Well,
Yeah, I
it
think it could-
became
yeah.
Standalone Complex.
Did it?
He's a
Oh,
series
okay.
that came after this. That is basically what you're describing.
Yeah, but is she the little girl robot, or is she the...
I can't remember.
Or is she-
I've not really
right.
seen it.
Because the girl thing is that's a bit weird, the ending. But
Yes, yeah.
No, I think that the live action, it gave you so much backstory, and I just didn't need all that. I just think it is a brilliant film. I think it is a huge achievement, and yeah, I just got a lot more from just kind of like letting it wash over me a lot more. I got a lot more from it, and I mean, I think like an advantage of the animation, I think the invisible suits. I mean, obviously in animation they just don't draw the person.
Yeah.
But it works really well, because that fight she has when she's invisible and he's just getting thrown around. I think it looks amazing, and I don't think it looked as... Although they did pretty much shot for shot in the remake, I don't think it looked as good, because you're just like, oh, I can see a kind of fuzzy predator, that looks like that effect. I think
they
in
handle
animation...
like the contact really well, don't they? I don't know if does the camera shake something? There's a real like you can feel it, can't every like hit of it.
Oh
even if
yeah,
she's not there.
definitely.
It's really well done. Yeah.
And also, the thing I noticed this time, well, still the confusing bit to me is because they say she's a cyborg,
Yeah.
but I thought that she was completely created, that there isn't really any humanity in her, as it were.
Well, that's
That
like
maybe there's some memories, but it's not really. She's basically a robot.
a construct.
That's not
Yeah.
yeah, that's not what I understand to be a cyborg. But anyway, that could be a translation. But I do think that the
I think that's where it kind of lost me a little bit. That bit. That's the bit.
yeah, it's the wording of that is a bit confusing.
I think don't they call her? Isn't she called a cyber, not a cyborg?
But I was really struggling to understand what was going on.
Yeah.
Whether what she was and. Yeah.
My understanding of it is that she is completely created. That she isn't.
Yeah.
It's a
You know,
robot,
she-
but with like
Yeah,
consciousness put in.
Yeah, and like her memories have come from other people's memories of things. Like she
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
There is a
Yeah.
human root to it, but in terms of her conscious, that is a created, conscious from the ground up. That's my understanding of it. I might be wrong.
Yeah. But the thing I noticed, I mean, I read that book that I sent you as well, but the bit with that weird montage where it's raining,
Yeah,
she sees a person that looks exactly like her,
yeah,
which I didn't really notice before. But that kind of in my head, I was like, oh, that kind of means that's kind of cool because it means that anyone could almost have her body or her face,
yeah.
which is kind of a really cool concept of identity, and it's not heavy-handed. It's just, oh look, there's someone who looks just like her and she's a robot. Oh yeah, so there could be other people that look. So I think there's a lot to it. But equally, I can see that if you do not get on with this as a art form or as a presentation, that is a huge.
yeah.
It's kind of
I'm
the same
against it.
reason I'd never buy like a U2 album or a band where they're just using guitar, drums, and voice because it's just not interesting to me.
Yeah.
It's not rich.
So it's like Captain Planet and it's like U2.
Wow.
Two horrible comparisons.
No,
You're
that's
killing me here. Captain Planet was bad enough, but you too. Oh Jesus.
As an analogy of like how
Yeah, I get what
things
you
are
mean.
simplistic.
Yeah, so I won't.
Going
There's
to
not
get
much.
loads of hate mail.
There's not much more I can add that I didn't say last time about it, really. But like, I'm rewatching it this time. I tried to like take away the 20 years of attachment to it I've got and watch it as a film. But it's kind of tough, and I think it is, like you said earlier, it's such a like I watched this. I remember I watched the first time I saw this was on, I think it was Channel 4, but I'd taped it off. They used to do anime like really late at night, I think, on Channel 4.
Yeah.
Like the late 90s. And I think that's when I first saw it, and it was dubbed. And it was just sort of, like mind expanding in a way of like, what is going on? What is this? I don't understand it. And obviously that's to my taste, that kind of philosophical, what is, lots of this sort of deep nonsense like this. I like this kind of shit. And I always have. I mean, I think a lot of it's because of this film's why I like it. So it's kind of hard for me to...
I think because I was on Channel 5 expanding my mind in different ways.
Yeah, no comment. But yeah, so I don't know. It's
Did you bring your essay that you wrote? You found it yet?
no, I haven't found my essay. No,
I thought you were just
Sadly.
going
I
to
wanted
read
some
it.
reading.
This-
That's what I wanted.
yeah, no. But no, because I don't. But that's the thing as well. Like, I mean, it is like even watching it now, it's still making me like think and things like that, and that's what I'm getting. Like to me, it's like a brain exercise in a way. But one that the reason it is so good is because it's not this dry. Philosophical paper. It's this incredible, to me, I think it looks incredible, anime about, cyborgs beating up robots and a policeman with like robot eyes, and it's this big Blade Runner world, but in Tokyo, so it's even cooler than Blade Runner, and it just...
The design of the guns and stuff, and there's a lot of kind of
it's
really
wonderful.
great just base design in there that is just really...
Yeah.
which they did use in the... like the fingers, the kind of crazy... typing fingers that just kind of come out of the hand, like that's completely in live action one.
The thing as well for me is why I think it is so good, and why I think it is a top 5 film, and I understand obviously it's not going to be after this, but it's because there is so much of this sort of media, like anime, this manga sort of stuff, and after this, a lot of it came west, but none of it's ever connected to me in a way this has. Like, and I've watched, I like some stuff, I like a lot of Cowboy Bebop was good, and I've started watching Patlabor, which is the thing that this guy did before Ghost in the Shell. That book is Alex.
Yeah,
you mentioned
I know that
Patlabor,
it's a big robot thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so I bought those and I'm watching that, and it's okay, but never again have I got that sort of sense of like this is a new, it's a new world, and I think that is time, place, and I think to detach that from my what I think of the film is wrong in a way, because that's what the film is to me. It is this new frontier of, stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I still absolutely love it, and I think it's valid. Like, I agree, the animation's a bit simple. I think, though, I do think it's brilliant, and I get that it's like, I get in a way how it's not a very. It's a funnily paced film, isn't it? It does lull, and there are bits where you could
There's
probably
a lot of like admin in it, like a lot
there
of
is,
people
but
chatting.
there is. It's just so
I
cool.
quite like that.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
And
But I mean, like you said about that book, because that whole kind of manga entertainment explosion in the UK, I was a real big part of that as well. And I think if you were caught by that kind of like, what is this? There's like, Ursula Dojin, with like, demons raping women and stuff. And there was
Kyra.
Yeah, and Fist of the North Star,
Fist of the North
and
Star,
like
yeah.
Golgo 13, which is my favourite. But all those things, you're right. If you were part of that wave, you were just like, what is this stuff? I don't. It's amazing. I've never seen this before. And it is that it played with that kind of, in a way, because it was a cartoon. You were a bit like, oh, but this is a cartoon, but it's super violent and it's super adult and it's kind of super. It's got all this heavyweight intellectual stuff going on, and it kind of at a certain age. I think if it hit you at a certain kind of like teenage age, then it did just kind of that sticks with you, and if it didn't, then it didn't. Maybe it's
in a way that, like, obviously
transfer.
Yeah, totally. And the other big one around then, Akari is like the other big one, isn't it? And I like Akari, but that didn't have the same effect at all. And I think that's again why I like Ghost Shell so much, because I think none of it connected in that same way to me as this did. I still like Akira. We should do Akira. Great film.
We're going to probably have to do it, sorry to say, Chris, because it's such a huge thing. But, that just freaks me out, that film. That just still disturbs me. But, I just think it's... The problem here is that, I think for you, Chris, is just you're just not getting the medium of the message, as it were.
Yeah, but I can understand, like, actually... I was just looking, actually, where I would put it on the list, because... But creatively, it, like, does stand above... It wouldn't go too far down for me because it does stand above other things here, like in what it's done.
It's weird as well because, like, think of like The Matrix, which obviously like heavily rips it off in terms of its like questions about things, and they've openly said that, haven't they? Yeah. But like The Matrix, in some ways, is a much more successful film because it is, like. That's a proper action film, isn't it?
Around like the
Western ideas,
experience, right?
And what Matrix does is retains those deep questions as well, doesn't it? In a way, I mean, I've not seen it in a long time, and I'm really not looking forward to watching it. Anyway,
but then they go too deep with the
questions. But that first one, like, I don't know. I think maybe I'm glad it's not on the list because I think if it was on the list, Ghost in the Shell maybe wouldn't be as high as it was. So, Chris, where would you put it anyway if you were going to move it down?
I would put it at number 15.
Okay.
Because I think creatively it's kind of similar creatively to Fifth Element, and the stuff above it is very good, and then Guardians and a few below it start getting popcorny.
Yeah, they're good films, but not
a little bit more sort of empty in what they are.
Yeah, fair enough. Alex?
See, the thing is, I love Predator 2, but I can admit that it's not as important and kind of like as innovative as this, and I think maybe even The Fly probably isn't as important as innovative as this, so I probably would put it under AI, but I wouldn't put it any lower than that. I think it's
What
really
about
did kind of
what about one
game
above
change.
AI?
Why?
Because like I can appreciate Donnie Darko, Starship Troopers, The Thing, all absolutely incredible films that are working on multiple levels, do lots of interesting things, and are, in the case of Thing, like the absolute pinnacle of its genre in a way, that kind of horror thing. Starship Troopers, just fantastic fun, but also this weird sort of deep film. Donnie Darko, sort of like nothing before it, and
no, nothing.
Like
nothing
so
after.
cleverly written. Like it's such a tight, clever script. AI. Fascinating, but a bit of a mess. Like, it was really interesting and really good.
It's very epic, though, AI, and it
is epic,
truly uses film.
It does, but I think it's
and this is a film thing.
But I think it's flawed, whereas everything above that I don't think is particularly flawed.
But AI really, really affected me on an emotional level. AI affected me on an emotional level more than any of the other films above it, really.
Yeah.
So that emotional impact on me is so big that I would let it go from its flaws.
And The Fly, for me, does exactly what this film can't do, and is kind of my whole argument, is it's like a stage show of performance and acting and then putting that on camera, and obviously you don't get any of that, and that's kind of what I'm missing.
Yeah.
The Fly is like a masterclass in single location
that's true.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's not as epic as AI or anything like it, but it's, for what it is, it's pretty remarkable.
So you'd say under the
I'd
Fly.
say
talk it
The
down, I
Fly, 'cause
suppose.
then, Predator 2 is, kind of more...
Trashy.
kind of more trashy. It's a great movie, but it's kind of
Yeah.
more, traditional.
I think Predator 2 is there because of who's writing this list, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
that's
damn
there
right.
because of
Love
our
that
individual tastes, whereas the ones above it sort of empirically are good, All right, I'll
I
take
think
11.
that's where the whole system breaks down from Predator.
No!
I'll take 11 then.
I'm sorry, Sam.
It's not as bad as I thought. Like, I was prepared for a big drop, so I'm quite glad that it's remained top 15 at least. I was... Actually, it's gone up to number 10. Oh, of course, yeah, because it's taken Ghost of Shell out from early on. Oh, it's still top 10, so good, that's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. Right, so, well, that wasn't brutal, and we didn't even argue about...
No, not really.
It was a very civilised discussion. Fantastic.
We respected each other's.
Yes.
We've been doing this longer than a year.
I turned my mic off while Chris was talking. I was just like shouting into the void.
You're using the cough button, but solidly.
That was it, yeah. Yeah. Just like hammered my fist down on it. Right, well, brilliant. So that's the re-ranking done. So that'll happen next year again, I presume.
Yeah.
Make 3 more choices. What episode on? 57. So yeah, about 100 and something. So yeah, that was good. So we've moved a little bit around. We've rejigged Ghost in the Shell down to number 10. We've rejigged Wall-E down to number 17, which was where it was before. And we have rejigged Ender's Game up
Yeah.
to 56. It's moved
That's
up,
the true victory
up
for me.
1. So yeah. Ender's Game, the only winner really from that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely. How's that happened? I feel like I've been hoodwinked somehow. That's wow. Okay.
Hey, Sam, everything's changing, isn't it?
Correct. So this is the last regular one. Next week. Oh no! In fact, don't need to worry about it because we've got a little bit we're going to put on the end, haven't we? So we'll now cut to our past, future
really
selves.
slick.
Yeah, it'll get slicker. So there'll be a little cut now back to us from fortnight ago, who'll explain to you what we're watching next week. So diddly-dit. So here we are. We're actually in the past, but we're on the end of this episode, and yeah. So we're going to do a trailer for next week and our first of this new format, where we're going to go deeply into a film. And actually, appropriately enough. I hadn't even realised this till now. Do you remember, Chris, when we were first discussing the ideas of this podcast, and we took a long walk over the hills of Mold?
We did, yeah. That
Matlock,
was great.
Sounds
Yeah.
beautiful.
and we spent a long time debating about whether this film was science fiction or
I
not.
nearly threw myself off a cliff at that point. 'Cause we were right on the edge of a cliff, weren't we? Over
We were, yeah. We went the wrong way and ended up almost dying.
We went down this illegal footpath, and it was right on the edge of the cliff.
God.
It felt like
Yeah, it
Indiana
was-
Jones in the
a
second
bit.
one.
Yeah, not in the fourth one.
Kalima. Yeah.
Yeah, so right at the dawn of it, we had the idea to watch Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and we can't tell you why it's science fiction, because if you've not seen it, it's a spoiler. Although a man does survive a nuclear blast in a fridge in the first 5 minutes, and that's kind of science fiction, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, so our first deep dive film is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I'll do a little synopsis for you. Basically, someone says they found the Crystal Skull. Indiana Jones goes to get it. But it's 20 years after any of the good Indiana Jones films, and he's really old. Oh, and Shia LaBeouf's here.
Oh, God.
He can't run.
Oh, yeah, and he can't run. And Karen Allen's not acted since the first film, but she's back because she can't act. And yeah, so this will be fun, won't
Shots
it?
fired.
Yeah.
A little bit of other history here. Alex, do you remember watching this with me in 2008?
Yeah, I do. In fact, I only just reread I did the blog while we were in Canada, and I wrote about us going to see this, and I haven't got it in front of me to quote it. I'll try and dig it out from somewhere. But I'm pretty sure that we didn't hate it.
We loved it. I remember thinking it was really good.
Yeah, I was shocked because I thought I'd get to that bit and be like, oh, it was terrible. Da, da, da. But actually, no, I think we were all, me, you, and Lee, who was there with us. I think we all were quite positive about it. Yeah, so a bit worrying. What was wrong with us?
Yeah, I mean, I remember then, like, probably a couple of years later, getting the DVD and saying to my parents, "Oh, we should watch it. It's not that bad," and watching it, thinking, "Oh my god,
Yeah.
what was I thinking?"
We did drink a lot while we were out in Canada, so maybe it was to do with that. I don't
suppose,
know.
yeah. Hype and drink. Anyway, let's watch a trailer for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, shall we? That shows a hell of a lot of the trailer, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, I was thinking that. It's very short, but shows you a lot of the film for such a short trailer. That's very odd.
Yeah, and the other thing that briefly, I mean, obviously we can't watch the other three Indiana Jones films because they're not science fiction.
No.
But I just thought we'd just see what everyone's thoughts on the old ones are. 'Cause we can't, it's not science fiction, you know, while we're here. Because they're great, aren't they?
Raiders is a perfect movie.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up there with Jurassic Park for me as like perfect movie.
No, but they're all good. They're all good.
No, they're not.
No, they are all good.
The second one, I liked stuff in the second one, and the third
Yeah.
one is okay. You know, they're all perfectly watchable. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think Last Crusade is the weakest.
It is the weakest.
Yeah, but it's still good though. It's still enjoyable.
All right.
But there's still good shit in there. There's Nazis,
Yeah.
and that's all you need.
Junior. Hey, Junior.
That's a quote. Chris, there's Nazis and that's all you need.
Yeah.
Chris Redding.
There's great quotes in every film as well. Like, it's just brilliant. Raiders has got some great quotes in it. Like, the little Nazi guy.
Yeah.
Here, Fräulein. Like,
It's
when he
yeah,
sits
it's
down, he goes,
films.
"What shall we talk about?"
Steven Spielberg, of course, who... Is this the moment he jumped the shark? It probably is, isn't it, really, I think.
Yeah.
Although he's still... British Spies was all right, so that was him, wasn't it?
But Ready
He's
Player
making-
One.
He's making D5, isn't he? He's making another one. That's his next...
Oh, is
Yeah.
That one
He's
be
got
underwater.
I don't know. Oh, is that what's going to be? Is it Atlantis? Is it?
I think so.
Oh, right. Yeah, he's making that and some comic book shit. And what's his one? Oh, West Side Story. How weird is that?
Oh, yeah, you said about West Side. Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah, so maybe Indy 5 will be science fiction as well and we can watch it. But for now, that's it. I've just realised I haven't really thought about this because this is the end of... Will this be the end of the other podcast?
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
This will be the end of the. This will be
So
the end
do we
of
just say our
the
goodbyes here? Or we
Ender's
say-
Game one, won't it?
But put this in as well. This is good shit.
Well,
will
this
put this in.
rambling.
You know what though? I think we should cut back to our future selves here,
Right. Okay.
and we'll do the conclusion of the show.
Right.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
Ghost in the
future.
Shell got to number 30. That was brilliant. Yeah.
And Wally
so-
is now number one.
We all know past. Oh God, who is it? No, future us know that past us were wrong. Or
Yeah.
something. Bye bye.
Bye.
Dilly dit. So now we're back in the present past
Oh man.
where we were. Good work, guys, from the past with that trailer watching. And now,
right.
Alex, let us know what the social media is.
Right, so email at sciencefictionratingsystem@gmail.com. Send us your selection of one film. Only one film now.
Yep.
You don't need to think of something clever that connects the films or, oh, they're all about, plants or something. No, just pick a film you like and we'll slag it off. So that's what's important. The website is sciencefictionratingsystem.com. We're at Twitter at SF Rating System, Instagram at Science Fiction Rating System, and Facebook at SF Rating System. They've all got lots and lots of fun things on them. Go and see them and like us, especially on Facebook. We've got 15 people like us on Facebook. It's terrible.
It's not good.
More than 15 people must listen to this, I hope.
Facebook's dead now, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Facebook is dead. While we're in this social media bit, we've actually got some correspondence, which was put up.
What?
I think it was up quite a while ago. Let me just try and find it. It's on iTunes, and it's a message to Alex. Where can I...
Oh, no. What?
It's actually from January, so sorry to
Oh, God.
Gonkfoot, who leaves the review Gonk with 5 stars, and says, hey, you guys are great, and the podcast is rocking, but please give Alex a lesson in the wonder of the Gonk droid. So I presume this is after...
Oh yes, the
After
Gonk.
that's-
That was a Star Crash episode where we did the competition about what was Star Wars or not Star Wars. Yeah, and I hilariously thought Gonk droids were an obscure reference. I'm sorry for all the Star Wars fans out there.
Yeah,
I dropped the
poor old
dropped the
Gonkfoot.
Wookiee on that one.
Yeah, at least you got Gonkfoot to do a review, so thanks, Gonkfoot.
Thank you, Gonkfoot. I will never ever think that the Gonk droid is obscure again.
Do you know what a Gonk's foot looks like, Alex?
Is that quite big?
They are quite big. 2 big shuffling feet.
Yeah, kind of bounces, doesn't it? It's like a kind of grilly black one, isn't it?
Yeah,
with the legs.
Gonk. It's one of the more obviously a dwarf in a box of the robots in the Star Wars canon. I think 'cause it sort of just like meanders around, doesn't it? Doesn't even
That's
move like a
kind of what I
robot.
like about them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their function, their entire function, they're a battery.
Yeah. Good old Gonk.
Good old Gonk.
Well, anyway, so
Well.
that's the end of this week. Join us next week for the first of this new Brave New era of reviewing one film in more depth. We'll see how that works out. And, yeah, recharge your Gonk batteries and come back to us. For now, cheerio. Bye.